Hello everybody, Mobius1 here, bringing you my first ever Star Wars Unlimited gameplay video using the website Karabast. Lately I've just been posting a bunch of card unboxing videos, but I figured I'd mix it up a little bit, and instead of just playing by myself today, I thought I'd record it and share the games with you. Before we jump over to Karabast though, I figured we'd take a look at the deck that I want to use today, and that is this Red Ray deck, which, believe me, is still a work in progress. There are a couple of one-ofs in the deck that I'm not entirely sure I want to leave in for the final version, specifically Jedi Lightsaber, Open Fire, and even Redemption. They're the kind of cards where, like, if you draw Jedi Lightsaber, the turn you flip Rey and you're able to stick that on her, it's really, really powerful, but it's not a card I really want to put 2 or 3 of in the deck, and with the one, it's not really reliable. However, there are lots of other Force units in the deck that could also use it. Yoda, Kanan, Obi-Wan, Luke. So I do kind of like it. For early game plays, we have 3 copies of R2-D2, 3 copies of Green Squadron A-Wing, and 3 copies of Sabine. R2-D2 is an amazing turn 1 play because you can throw an experience token on him using Rey's leader ability. And the Green Squadron A-Wing's pretty good too because this deck is rather light in space. We only run the 3 Green Squadron A-Wings, 3 Concord Dawn Interceptors to kind of slow our opponent's space development, and 2 Disabling Fang Fighters in addition to that 1 Redemption. I do have another Redemption and a 3rd Disabling Fang Fighter in the sideboard in case we're either going up against a potentially control-heavy deck where we want that extra Redemption, and the 3rd Disabling Fang Fighter's in there just in case we go up against an upgrade-heavy deck, such as a Mandalorian deck, Gar Saxon deck, or Green Sabine, so we can use it to get rid of the Darksaber. We do run a lot of removal, so we have 2 copies of Takedown, 2 copies of Rivals Fall, 2 copies of Fell the Dragon, 3 copies of Daring Raid, and 1 Open Fire. It is a little bit more removal than other versions of Red Ray that I've seen online, but I am a control player at heart, so I like my removal. Another big aspect of the deck is discard, so we have 3 copies of Force Throw and 3 copies of Pillage to force our opponent to discard cards. Also 3 copies of K2SO, which most of the time will use his on defeat ability to force our opponent to discard a card, unless the 3 damage to base is really going to push us towards victory. The majority of the time, Force Throw will also double as removal because we, as I said before, have plenty of Force units in the deck. We do run 2 copies of Poe Dameron for 2 reasons. 1, a 6/6 body for 5 is pretty good, and 2, again, discard mechanic. We're able to throw away our own cards to force our opponent to discard cards, and that's kind of a secondary point of the deck. The main point of the deck, however, is outlast your opponent through removal, restore, whatever, until 9 resources so we can throw down one of our 2 Krayt Dragons. This is the strategy of many red decks, however, because we're not playing a red-green deck, we're not going to be ramping into Krayt Dragon, which means we do need ways to deal with opponent Krayt Dragons if we're going up against a similar deck, which is, again, why we run 2 copies of Fell the Dragon and 2 copies of Rivals Fall. Hopefully, however, we can just simply avoid enemy Krayt Dragons altogether by forcing our opponent to discard them before they get to play them. Final notes on the sideboard, we have 1 restock just in case we're going up against like a Blue Vader mill deck, 2 copies of Vigilance, which also kind of fits into that same Blue Vader deck meta where if for whatever reason we need to try to outmill our opponent, we can do that, I guess. 2 copies of Entrenched, which I just put those in there, so we're going to see how those work out if we decide we want to run them. I'm not entirely sure what decks I want to play them against, but I feel like they could be useful, maybe. And 3 copies of Make an Opening, which are really only there to hard counter any yellow-black space decks, such as a Tarkin space deck, or there's even a Space Boba deck out there that's running 7th Fleet Defenders and Lurking TIE Phantoms, both of which only have 2 HP, so Make an Opening is a great counter for them. So that's the deck. Let's play a couple games and see how we do. Looks like our first matchup is against a double blue Ray. I'm not going to make any sideboard swaps for this. I've actually tried playing double blue Ray a while ago and didn't have a bunch of success. It was kind of fun. All right, opening hand, we do have an R2-D2, which I really like, and we do have a Yoda for turn 2. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan, but I think because we have the R2-D2 and the Yoda, I think I'm okay to keep this. I think we'll get rid of one of the force throws, and I hate to get rid of a Poe over a Fell the Dragon. I think I'll get rid of the Fell the Dragon. Let's go ahead and greet our opponent. And hopefully we do well. Alright, so he's playing Moisture Farmer. We'll go ahead and throw down our R2-D2, and we did get our Jedi Lightsaber. That could be really devastating if we get it on Yoda, so I'll leave it on top. He buffs the Moisture Farmer. We'll go ahead and buff R2-D2. And pass. Alright, we got the Concords on, Interceptors. I don't want to ditch Poe. We could throw the Jedi Lightsaber on R2-D2, and that would make him really scary. Do we think... I mean, double Blu-ray's got to be running a lot of removal, though. I'm actually going to... let's get rid of the Interceptors. This could be a losing play. If he plays any sort of space, we've pretty much given up on our space arena. But we do have Force Throw to potentially deal with a space unit. Cool. Alright. So do we want to get Yoda out there? Do we want to buff R2? Yoda followed up by Force Throw is pretty good. I think... See, the problem is if we buff R2-D2, we're not going to be able to play a card. So let's do something unorthodox. Let's play Jedi Lightsaber on R2-D2. This is probably a terrible, terrible idea. Interesting. He played Protector on Moisture Farmer, so that makes the Moisture Farmer a 2/6. We'll go ahead and swing. Luke Skywalker. Let's put him on the bottom because we're not going to get to him for quite a while. Now, we could use Tarkin Town to finish off the Moisture Farmer, but I don't really think that's worth it. So let's go ahead and take initiative. Oh, Daring Raid, Redemption. I think we can give up a Redemption this early. Okay. If we do Daring Raid on Moisture Farmer, that's very efficient, but that leaves us with 3 resources. We could still play Yoda. We don't get to do the Yoda Force Throw combo, but I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and Daring Raid the Moisture Farmer. It's a very efficient use of Daring Raid. We'll use R2 to finish off Kuil. Concord Dawn Interceptors. I'm tempted to leave this on top just in case we need a space counter, but I think I'm alright throwing it to the bottom. We now have decent control of ground. There we go. We can pop our own Yoda. He's going to buff Yoda, which doesn't seem smart, but what I guess he's got nothing else to do. So, all right, so we're going to take initiative. I'm recklessly abandoning space because I'd rather have the rivals fall to defeat his array when he deploys. So we can now effectively or efficiently deal with his Yoda. Another Rivals Fall, we can go ahead and bury that. We have exactly enough resources to play Poe, unless we need to play Force Throw for some reason. Okay. Village Protectors, Sentinel, and Shielded. Let's go ahead and pop the shield with Yoda. We'll get a Restore 2 off of that. Yep. There he goes. He buffs them up to 3. We'll play Poe. He took initiative, and we will pass. All right, we did draw a Pillage. Now, Pillage becomes less effective when your opponent has lots of cards in hand. We do have Poe in play, so potentially we could start discarding their cards. We do have a Force Throw, too. This is tough. What are we going to play? You know what? I kind of want to get rid of his cards, so we're going to give up Kanan, despite my better judgment. Alright, so he goes ahead and flips Rey. Mm-hmm. Let's try this. Let's take out the village defenders with Poe. We don't need to discard anything to defeat an upgrade. We don't need to do damage. We could discard something to make him discard a card. I have an idea. Let's get rid of pillage. He's going to discard one card. My idea is that he hasn't played any cards yet this turn. What did he discard? Okay, he discarded a takedown. Playing Vigilance. Okay, so he gave Ray a shield and got rid of Poe. Alright, so that was kind of my idea. I was hoping that he was going to upgrade Ray in some way. Like a Jedi lightsaber or something like that. The shield token is an upgrade. So now we get a little bit more value out of Rival's Fall. So we'll go ahead and use Rival's Fall to get rid of Ray, bypassing the shield token. So now we can attack. Oh, look, we got another pillage. We'll leave that on top. That's really good. We'll attack with Yoda, get the restore. That was a mistake. I went too fast. We should have... Oh, no, I guess not, because now we can use Rey's attack to buff her. I was going to say we could buff Yoda with Rey's attack, but I always forget that she can buff herself. Ooh, very nice. Oh, man, we got a Luke and a pillage and the Force throw. All right, we can get rid of the Force throw in this case. I think we're doing all right. There's his own Luke. Got rid of our R2-D2. Sure. Hello, Luke. Meet Luke. And we can use Yoda to get rid of Luke. And buff Yoda up with Rey. Pass. I'm expecting some sort of hard removal here. And we got our Krayt Dragon. We'll go ahead and get rid of Sabine. Now, if we were going up against... If this was a mirror match and we were up against a red Rey, I would be absolutely terrified of him playing his own pillage. Alright, he can defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining, so there goes Yoda, but that did draw us a card. He's only got 3 cards in hand, which is perfect, because now what we're going to do is we're going to force him to discard 2 cards. And let's see, he gets rid of a base Malbus and a Yoda. So now he's got 1 card left. Most players, when having to discard 2 cards, when they only have a hand of 3, will always keep their most expensive card. So I'm hoping that when I attack Chewbacca with Luke here, I'm hoping his last card costs at least 4 resources. Because we're going to force him to discard his last card. Okay, good. And it was a redemption. So there goes Chewbacca. Whew. That was a gamble, but it really paid off. And you can see how this discard is absolutely brutal. We'll go ahead and get rid of the Sabine. That brings us to enough resources to play the Krayt Dragon. All right, he had another redemption, but I'm not really worried by that. We'll go ahead and attack with Luke. Attack with Rey. Play the Krayt Dragon, and we'll use Tarkin Town to deal 3 damage to Redemption to clear the board and pass. And I think that pretty much seals the game. Seals the deal, seals the game. Oh, we got our second Krayt Dragon. That's disgusting. I'm just gonna pass. He defeated the Krayt Dragon. There we go. We don't even need to play the second Krayt Dragon. I'm not gonna BM. And there we go. All right. That's Red Rey against Blue Rey. So obviously we need to see how it performs against a couple different decks. So let's go ahead and find another opponent. All right, our second opponent has arrived, and it is in fact a yellow Tarkin. So we're going to go ahead and slot in all 3 of our make-and openings. We should probably slot in our third disabling Fangfighter, to be honest. Let's see. Should we get rid of anything? I don't know what to get rid of. Let's get rid of one of the... You know what? Let's get rid of one of the Krayt Dragons, and we'll get rid of one of my Sabines. It's probably not a good idea. You guys can let me know in the comments what you would, what kind of swaps you would make in a deck like this. I was considering maybe a Rival's Fall, maybe one of the Luke Skywalkers. I also probably should have put the second Redemption in. All right, let's look at our hand. We have an opening hand, or an opening play, but after that, not a lot. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Okay, good. We got an A-Wing. Oof. All right, we're going to have to resource a Krayt Dragon and Luke Skywalker, so we have to keep in mind that we only have one Krayt Dragon left in our deck. All right, this isn't bad. We've got a Daring Raid if we need to spot removal, something cheap. All right, we'll open up with the A-Wing. All right, Admiral Piet, and we'll go ahead and claim. We pulled a Poe and a Takedown. Takedown might be necessary, but Poe is such a good draw. Because I don't know what kind of deck this is yet, I'm going to give up the Takedown. It's a little bit more situational than Poe, and we already have a 4-drop. Alright. Since I don't see us playing Disabling Fangfighter, the first thing I'm going to do is use Rey's leader ability to buff the A-Wing. That means the only play we have left is Daring Raid, but if he does play a high HP unit... Okay, there we go. So we do have this type of space deck that we have to worry about here. He can't buff it yet. Do I want to play control or do I want to play aggressive? I feel like if we play... like I said earlier in the video, I'm much more of a control player. So I'm going to use Daring Raid to pop the shield on that. And then we're going to remove it with the A-Wing. So that doesn't leave us with anything to do with our last resource. All right, we did pull a Pillage, and we got a K2SO, which is really good. I think that's going to be our play here. I don't typically like playing Pillage this early because it's such a loss of tempo. And while he's got so many cards in hand, it's too easy for him to just discard meaningless cards. So let's go ahead and... I don't want to drop the Fangfighter because, again, space unit. So I'm going to drop Kanan. I do hesitate to do that a little bit because he's the only Force unit that I have in hand, but since I don't have any like Force Throws or the Jedi Lightsaber, that's not a huge deal. K2SO can efficiently deal with Piet. Okay, so there's the Lurking Tie. I need to just go ahead and remove that before he starts buffing it. Not even going to allow him to do that. So he's going to go ahead and buff Piet. We will play... Oh, see, he's only got 3 cards now. So if I want to leave Piet on the board, I can force him to discard 2 cards. But I think it's better to get K2SO in play first. He's going to take initiative. Or no, well, I guess he's debating. Does he want to attack my base for 2 damage and surrender initiative or not? He probably should take initiative. He is going to attack. That's fine. So now we'll get initiative. Okay, good. We drew a Concord Dawn and make an opening. So these are 2 really good counters against space units. And because of that, I can give up. I feel more comfortable giving up a Fangfighter. Now, the problem is we only have enough resources to play one of these. If we decide to play the Interceptors, we could then use our 5th resource to buff it with Rey. Let's see what... oh, I guess I have initiative, so I have to make the first move. I think the best first move for me is to just attack Piet with K2SO and see what he decides to do. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hit Piet. Now, his best move, depending on what he has in hand, obviously, I don't know, but a delay move for him would be to just hit my base with Piet, because that forces me to be the first one to spend resources. If he does that, I will probably just play Poe. Okay, so he buffed Piet. Interesting. We're going to use Tarkin Town to just finish off Piet then. Now that forces him, like I said, to play out whatever he's got for his 4 resources now. Incinerator Trooper. Okay, so that's interesting. So the Incinerator Trooper, if you haven't seen it before, while attacking deals damage first. So if he uses that to kill if he uses that to attack K2SO, it will live. But I'm not really worried about that. It's only a 2/2. Now he can start buffing it. I could use Make an Opening now to get rid of that. You know, he can't buff it now. I think I want to use my resources efficiently. So I'm going to deploy Poe. He's got 2 resources to spend still. If he does, that's going to leave him with only 2 cards in hand. I'm feeling a pillage next turn, but it really depends on what we draw and if he plays anything else. I totally forgot that he could deploy Tarkin on 5. That's fine. All right, we'll take initiative. So he's going to buff that Incinerator Trooper up to a 3/3, but we can attack into it with K2SO and force him to discard a card. All right, because Tarkin can't buff himself. No, it's another Imperial unit. Okay. All right, well, he plays Outland TIE Vanguard. All right, that's fine. We're still able to kill the Incinerator Trooper. We'll force him to discard. Let's see what he has to give up. Looking at his discard pile up here. All right, so he gave up a Surprise Strike. Interesting. Interesting. What could be his last card? Well, we're going to find out here in a second. I'm going to give up Yoda, because I have a feeling we're going to need the Concord Dawn Interceptors to slow his space lane here in a second. So, the question now is, who do we take out with Poe? The first thing we have to do is attack with Poe. We can either take out Tarkin, or we can take out the Incinerator Trooper. Honestly, I think taking out the Incinerator Trooper is probably the right play. And then, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Do we want to discard something to force him to do anything? If we pillage, we're not gonna have enough resources to play anything else. We don't have anything to buff. I don't want to give up anything yet. I mean, we could give up the pillage to force him to only discard 1 card. That's not good enough. No, I'm just gonna pass. Let's see what happens. Because if he plays a card now and we pillage, that's devastating to him. If he doesn't play a card, hopefully he attacks with Tarkin, then we can safely deploy Rey. Okay, good. So he's attacking with Tarkin. Let's go ahead and flip Rey. Frozen Carbonite, not bad. All right. Well, then we'll pillage. Make him discard his last 2 cards. Let's see what they were. An ATST and a Frozen Carbonite. Oof. All right. Well, now we'll take initiative so that we get to act first, and he can't do anything. Well, he's got 2 cards. He's probably got a resource 1, so he's down to pretty much top decking. We can give up Daring Raid. And we have first go. So, I kind of just want to play Luke. I'm just going to get Luke out there because he'll give a unit -3/-3, and that gets rid of his space unit. He didn't resource. Interesting. All right, we'll claim initiative. He's gonna buff up another Piet, which we could easily deal with Luke. We're doing so good here. What do we want to get rid of? Man, these are all good cards to hold on to. I think we can give up the takedown. He's saying GG already. All right. Yep. GG. There we go. And that's, I mean, we didn't even use a make an opening, but we had to make an opening so that if he had played a Lurking TIE Phantom, takedown would not have been able to get rid of it, but make an opening does. So I think we were, even though it looked like he got pretty unlucky with his draws at the end there, I think even if he did have some better draws, we still had answers for them regardless. So yeah, that was a good game. All right, and our third opponent for today is going to be a double blue Gar-Saxon. So I am not familiar with double blue Gar-Saxon. I'm going to slot in a couple of different things. I'm going to slot in my Disabling Fang. We'll do the 2 Vigilance, 2 Entrenched, and the other Redemption. Now we need to... I don't like going into a game with a deck this heavy, but I don't really know what to expect. I'm going to get rid of... Let's get rid of both Fell the Dragons. I'm going to get rid of 1 Pillage. No, we should keep the Pillage. I'm trying to hurry because I don't know. We'll get rid of a Force Throw and a Sabine and a Daring Raid. Okay, that takes us to 51. That's fine. Pretty decent. No, not really that decent of a hand. Well, we'll be able to use R2-D2s. I'm going to keep this hand because I'm afraid I can get something much worse. And we can use R2's win plate ability to look at the top card of our deck, and if it's not something cheap, we can bury it. We're going to give up a K2, and we'll give up a Krayt Dragon. Again, remind ourselves we only have 1 Krayt Dragon left in our deck. All right, he played a Viper Probe Droid, so he gets to peek at our hand. Go ahead and play R2-D2. Concord Dawn Interceptors. It is something we could play. I'll leave it on top, just because if we don't get another 2 or 3 drop, then we can't play anything next turn. So, even though it's not exactly the card that I'm looking for, yeah, see, the next thing would have been Rival's Fall, and who knows, if the card after that was another removal card or something, then we'd have had basically a dead turn. We have 3 4-drops, so I gotta get rid of something. I'm gonna get rid of a Kanan, because I'd much rather have a K2SO. Alright, he's attacking first. That was unusual that he attacked... Well, maybe not. Maybe he's a hard control deck. We're gonna go ahead and attack with R2-D2. Look at that! The next card was a removal card. I'm gonna keep that on top, though, because I feel like this is going to be a game of removal. Go ahead and play our Concord Dawn Interceptor. Alright, he took initiative. So now if he buffs his Follower of the Way, it's going to get an additional +1/+1. Takedown's going to be very useful here. So let's get rid of Yoda. Okay. Well, Takedown's going to be very useful here against Lieutenant Childson, because even if all 3 cards in his hand are blue, which they were, let's see, what's he have? So he's got a Fen Rao, a Takedown of his own, and a Count Dooku. Okay. Takedown's going to be very good against Count Dooku. But by the time he could play Count Dooku, we could play Rival's Fall. So yeah, we need to get rid of Childson. We're going to play our own Takedown to just straight up remove him, and he can't play anything else. He can shield his Follower of the Way with his Security Complex, which I did not see coming. That was an interesting play. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and attack his base with R2-D2. Another Kanan, we'll bury that on the bottom. I'm anticipating him removing R2-D2. Yep. Which is okay, because that gets rid of the shield, which removes the upgrade and brings it back down to a 1/3. I could chip at his base for 1 damage, but I think I'd rather take initiative here. Okay, we got a Daring Raid and a Force Throw. Neither of these are great. Force Throw is significantly worse because we don't have any Force units, but we are going to be flipping Rey in 2 turns. So the question is, what are we going to play this turn? I would like to start off with Vigilance, because we can remove a unit with 3 or less remaining HP, which is what his is. And then we could discard 6 cards from his deck, which might be good in this matchup. So I'm just going to get rid of the Daring Raid. That was probably a bad choice. We'll see what happens. Oh crap, I'm not playing double blue Ray. Oh, you guys are probably screaming at your monitors right now. All right, well guess what? We're attacking with oh, I made another mistake. All right, we should have okay. Oh good, it doesn't matter. He played Power of the Dark Side. All right, I don't feel so bad anymore. Now we'll play K2SO. And so you have a Foundling. So he made this Follower of the Way is now a double Mandalorian. But it's also a 4/5, which is very scary. If he attacks, let's do this. We're gonna pass. If he attacks K2SO, we'll make him discard. There goes another takedown, and then we will Tarkin Town his Follower of the Way. Bye-bye. And then we'll pass again. All right, we got double Rival's Fall, takedown. We've got all of our removal. We'll give up a Rival's Fall. Hopefully he plays... Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, okay. Goodbye. We'll play our Rival's Fall to get rid of his guy. He's probably got his own. He claimed initiative. All right, well, we'll deploy Ray. We'll swing for 3. He's probably going to defeat Ray with a similar card. Well, that's fine. We just got Pillage, too. That's such a good draw here. Because if he resources, he resourced. All right, I imagine he's going to get rid of Ray, so we'll give up Force Throw. Now, if he Rivals Falls, that's going to leave him... Oh, Power of the Dark Side, which is just basically the same. And we will Pillage. And there goes his last 2 cards. Which is Fen Rao and a Black Sun Starfighter, which gives us just enough resources to play an A-Wing and pass. Oh, we got our second Pillage, too. Again, Force Throw is not incredibly useful here, but... Yeah, alright, let's give that up. Yeah, it's kind of what I was afraid of. I don't want to Pillage when he only has 1 card in hand. So, and I can't really do anything with this either. Let's pass and see what he chooses to do. He might just claim initiative. Yeah, he did. We have our 3rd Pillage. All right, let's resource Pillage. Inferno 4, okay. Okay. If we do this, that's going to be 6. Let's go with Poe. We gotta get something on the board. Alright, good. So he had a Rival's Fall. That's fine. Claim initiative. Alright, we got Luke Invader. That's awesome. We'll probably want to play... Or, did I say Luke Invader? Luke and Obi-Wan. Yeah, fine. Are we ever gonna need Pillage now at this point? Let's just pass. I'm gonna Pillage. Lieutenant Childson and his own Vigilance. So he is has Mill as a secondary strategy. Okay. I don't want to use Takedown on Inferno 4. I should have actually resourced that. But I'm afraid that he's going to pull something with 5 HP. This is going to be a very long game. Okay. We should definitely resource something here. I don't want to give up any of these. So let's give up K2. All right, if we play this, that leaves us with 4 resources, which is just enough to play Takedown. If we play Poe, that leaves us with 5, which is not enough to play anything else. This is probably a bad play. I know we have 3 Lukes in the deck, so I'm gonna bait out a removal card by playing Luke. I fully expect him to remove that. Embo, interesting. What did we... Okay, yeah, no. So we played Arrival's Fall and we resourced one, so we don't have one left. Yeah, we still have 2 Lukes in the deck. Take initiative. Oh, good. We got the Jedi lightsaber too, but in a deck against a double blue, that's scary. We also got entrenched. I don't think we need entrenched here. We can get rid of that. I don't usually go this high in resources. All right, we're going to play, let's play Obi-Wan now, so that if he does have like a power of the dark side or something, we can get rid of Obi-Wan to buff Luke. And a Child Sin. We can use Takedown to get rid of Child Sin. That's probably worth it. Part of me is... Oh wait, what did he reveal? Vigilance and Takedown. So he can't use Takedown. And, alright, so he's using Vigilance. He's probably going to make me mill. He's probably going to choose discard. Alright, so gain 5. Oh, and he shielded Embo. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to push for damage, because we know he has his last card's Takedown. So if I made that trade, if I got rid of the shield with Embo, that would have put Luke in Takedown range. Okay, so this was a pretty bad draw. We got an A-Wing and an R2-D2. But that's, I mean, that's going to happen eventually. What are we going to play? What are we going to play? I'd like to play Poe. And depending on what he plays, I'd like to play Vigilance. That's 11, so we will not resource here. We also want to start, if we're going to try and get a Poe to stick on the board, we want to start accumulating cards in our hand so that we can discard them and use them with Poe's ability. Now, knowing that he has a Takedown in hand, I'm going to get as much value out of Obi-Wan as I can and trade him into Embo instead of pushing for base damage. That also allows us to buff Luke, and because Luke was a Force unit, we drew a card. Wow, yeah, he played initiative. That's really unfortunate for him. We could stack Luke, and that's probably what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and throw the lightsaber on Luke and attack for 11. We'll play R2-D2. We don't want the entrenched. We'll play Poe, and he gave up. GG. Alright, so that was Double Blue Gar Saxon. That was a pretty lengthy game. You can see how control versus control matchups can drag on for quite a bit, but I think we did rather well. I do want to continue playing this deck to see how it performs against other color combinations, like a Han, green Han, and especially more aggressive decks, because this is a control-heavy or control-focused deck. I feel like this deck would struggle a lot against Green Sabine or like a ramp Han Solo deck or something. But yeah, I like it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If there are any card changes that you would make to this list, what they are. And if you ever want to play any games, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Mobius1 here, and I'll see you later.